So the cold, hard, brutal truth is that companies like Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Dell, and Alphabet are using child slave labor and slave labor of men and women under threat of duress from violent militant groups that companies and governments fund by propping up political leaders in Uganda and Congo that enable these militant groups to remain in power. And unless we make a boycott, this will go on in perpetuity. I want you to say it with me. If we can boycott Starbucks and McDonald's for Palestine, we can also boycott Apple and Microsoft for Congo. If we can boycott Starbucks and McDonald's for Palestine, we can also boycott Apple and Microsoft for Congo. It's going to be really hard, but we have to do this. We need to organize a sustained and formal boycott against these companies and any other company that is currently using child slave labor to produce its products. I'm working on a larger list of demands, but I would love help with this. I want us to collaborate as a global community and think about what it is that we should actually ask for, what is attainable, looking at past lawsuits, what's already been achieved. But here's what I'm thinking. 1, the boycott will continue unless they provide proof that they are now protecting their workers and paying them fair wages. I mean, that's the most basic thing. 2, I think that they need to publicly admit to the wrong they've done and publicly apologize and provide us, their customers, with proof and plans of how they're going to change going forward. And not these bullshit, oh, we're going to be recyclable by 2025 or by 2030. But I'm talking like complete transparency of the supply chain. 3, I think we need proof of direct investment into all of the communities in any country that they have devastated. And I'm talking billions of dollars in investment. Now, these companies are multi-trillion-dollar companies making profits of, at minimum, $90 to $100 billion per year. So $5 billion per country that they've devastated per community to literally create sustainable long-term jobs, to invest in the infrastructure, healthcare, and all of the incredible organizations already on the ground. This is the bare minimum of what they can do. 4, I think they need to provide proof that they will protect and keep protecting activists, organizers, and health organizations on the ground who speak truth to power and report on what's going on. Because right now, when people tell the truth of what's happening, they just get killed. 5, I think they need to provide proof of divestment from any radical political group or government that is actively propping up the M23 or any other militia or extremist group that is literally enslaving people and enacting mass violence and death upon a population. Please help me think of more. I'm reading tons of different reports and things, trying to think about what is actionable demands. And I'm gonna try to form a formal proposal. I would love your help with this. But my main proposition, and I think that what we as we all in some way are complicit, right? We buy phones, we buy computers, we buy MacBooks, iPhones, their TVs, their watches, all these things. And what we need to say is that we will not only not buy any more of your products, but we will actively encourage others to switch and boycott as well, along with our own personal boycott, until you satisfy these demands. And I think that a lot of people think oh, it's impossible. They just have a monopoly in the market. There are literally companies that provide completely ethically sourced phones. I mean, I took this was 2 minutes of Googling and I found this incredible company called Fairphone that has they provide proof that they don't work with any forced or child or slave labor of any kind for any marginalized group of people, that all of it is fair sourcing, all of it is upcycling and recycling, and that they pay their workers fair wages in whatever country they collaborate with. And they have all of the proof of their supply chains. Everything's independently evaluated. And their whole mission is essentially to bring tech products to the market that are really quality, that don't involve slave labor. We have to hold companies accountable because they're just going to continue to give bullshit excuses saying, oh my gosh, we totally right. They're going to be we're listening and learning, and we really want to start being more sustainable going forward. That bullshit Tim Cook commercial. No. We need proof. We need actionable proof. We need people on the ground saying, yeah, they're really things are changed. They have been paying us more fairly. Here's our contracts. We need active protection for people from violence. We need literal proof and huge advancements. And we need to have a formal boycott and not buy any of their products until that happens. Not buy the new iPhone, not buy any of their computers, their Apple Watches, any of the Apple products, any of the Microsoft products. And we can literally find sustainable ways to get like recycled tech, to get tech that is like just as high quality, that is not actively like being created from child slave labor. Like, it's so simple. Go to fairphone.com to learn more. And listen, like, these are trillion-dollar companies. Like, they have the money to do this. Like, if they wanted to, they could still be making tens of billions of dollars in profit every single year while investing billions of dollars in profit in all of the communities they fucked over, while also paying everyone along their global supply chain super fairly and keeping them safe. They could do all that. Like, they could run a super ethical business and still make tens of billions of dollars a year in literal profit. So, like, it's completely possible. These are like multi-trillion-dollar organizations. They have more money than some governments. You know what I mean? Like, they have the resources. The only thing that motivates these people is money and stock prices. The only way to impact a stock price is to make a lot of public, noise about a boycott, to actively boycott the products, because then that's going to affect like the literal cash flow to the company. But the more you publicly talk about the boycott, the more retail investors, they start to like get panicky and take out their investments from these companies. The more like big hedge funds start to divest from these companies, and then their stock prices literally tank. And then all of a sudden, people are like, oh my God, let's meet these demands real quick because the stock price is tanking and the board of investors is going to literally kill us. So like, that's the only thing that motivates these people is their investors, their stock price, and how much cash is flowing and what their profit margins are. And we have direct control over that. So like, it might seem like this helpless thing where it's a monopoly, but actually we have direct control over their cash flows, over their stock price by our consumer decisions and our collective power as millions and millions of people that see this video that are actively boycotting them. We could totally change this situation forever. Listen, there's so much written about this. Like, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's like already lawsuits that have happened. Like, it is actively happening every single day that every tech product you have in your hand is quite literally made from modern day child slave labor. Imagine your little sibling being forced by threat of violence to mine with their bare fucking hands this mineral that as they breathe in the toxic dust from it, it's like giving them cancer. They're being beaten. They're being SA'd. Their family members are being killed if they ever complain or speak out. Like, this is an atrocity. This is a G word. This is like all of the horrible things. And it is up to us as free people, as intellectuals, as activists, as advocates to speak out against this and to actively mobilize and make a change. So what I am asking you to is to help me start a boycott. Like, let's literally start this boycott. Like, if we can boycott, we can boycott Starbucks for Palestine. We can boycott McDonald's for Palestine, which is great. Like, I'm so supportive of that. We can boycott all these companies that they've asked us to boycott because we recognize the severity of the Palestinian cause, which is so important. Like, I'm so free Palestine, pro-Palestine. But to put things into perspective, not to ever compare, like, I don't want to ever do like the trauma Olympics here. Like, Palestine is one of the most severe things that we have ever faced and will ever face as a human civilization. And we should be putting all of our effort towards there. But we should also be putting all of our effort towards Congo, because over the past 30 years, 6 million people have died because of this conflict, and 5,000 people die because of this conflict every single week. Do you recognize that? Like, right now, we are protesting in the streets globally because of the 10,000 people like that were innocently slain because of Israel killing them in Palestine and Gaza. And obviously across the West Bank. And I know that whole conflict has been going on for 75 plus years, and the number is actually much more than 10,000. But what I'm saying is 6 million. There's 6 million, and it's called a silent G word because no one pays attention, and their lives, the Congolese people's lives, are just as important as Palestinian lives. And so I want us to be able to hold space for both in our head and to fight for both of them, because just all that energy you're bringing to Palestine is so fucking important. Please don't ever stop. But also, please bring that same energy to Congo, because they need us too, and their lives matter just as much.